Welcome back to Inherited Dawn, a One Piece podcast. We are breaking down the official release of chapter 1187, and there is no title that could possibly prepare you for what Oda just dropped on us.
This week, Oda didn't just move the story forward. He planted a flag for a character we've been following for over 1,000 chapters and said, it's time.
It is absolutely time. We're talking about the potential for a new king, not just on the throne of the world, but on the deck of the Thousand Sunny.
If you think Sanji is about to step into his royal potential, you should probably follow the show. You won't want to miss the episode where we get to break down that moment when it finally happens.
Let's get into it. The chapter kicks off right where we left off. Luffy just landed a clean shot on Imu.
A truly thunderous blow. The paneling made it feel like the entire world shook, and Loki is immediately trying to take credit. He's telling Luffy the only reason that punch connected was because he'd already done the heavy lifting.
Classic Loki. What a prima donna. But Luffy, man, he just brushes it off. He looks at this giant, bleeding, wounded warrior and just says, "You look really hurt. You should rest." That's our captain. In the middle of a battle against the literal god king of the world, he's worried about his ally.
It's such a consistent part of his character, isn't it? We saw it even with his enemies, like Katakuri. Once the fight is won, the empathy comes through. Here, with an ally, it's instantaneous. Imu is a concept to be defeated. Loki is a person who is hurting. For Luffy, the distinction is that simple. It's a quality that separates a conqueror from a true king.
You're so right. A conqueror just wants to win. A king cares about the people around him. And Luffy sees everyone around him as his people. Even a giant prince from Elbaf he just met. It's just built into his DNA.
Loki, of course, refuses. His pride as a giant warrior won't let him back down. But then they both notice something. These black, wispy flames are stuck to their bodies from Imu's earlier attacks.
And these things are spooky, man. They're not burning them, not in the way Ace's or Sabo's flames would. They just cling like living shadows. It's got this weird parasitic vibe that is just deeply unsettling.
It feels less like a conventional devil fruit power and more like a curse, like Imu is literally marking them with a piece of his own authority, a fragment of the void, and we see exactly what that mark does.
Yeah, we do. Imu isn't down for the count, not even close. He comes flying back, a silent fury, and the flame on Loki, it starts moving. It slithers across his body like a venomous snake, right to the wound Imu already gave him with that sword.
It's a terrifyingly intelligent attack. It seeks out the point of greatest weakness. It's not a brute force power. It's targeted, predatory. The flame acts as a beacon for the next assault.
Then Imu unleashes a new attack, Stigma, a direct blast of that same black fire, and it goes straight through Loki's chest.
The name itself is so telling. A stigma is a mark of disgrace, a brand. Imu isn't just attacking, he's passing judgment. He's branding his enemies as heretics before executing them. This is the power of a god king who believes his authority is absolute.
It's a brutal pinpoint shot. The panel is just devastating. Loki is just blown away, crashing down toward the rest of the crew. Meanwhile, the Straw Hats are down below, trying to figure out what's going on with Gunko.
They've reached her, but she's encased in something that looks like ice, but they can't break it. They're starting to wonder if it's even ice at all.
They reason that it has to be, right? Otherwise she would have suffocated by now, so there must be air in there. But they're hitting it with everything they have, and nothing can even scratch it.
This immediately makes you think of Aokiji's powers, but this feels fundamentally different. Aokiji's ice is a natural element, a logia. It can be countered by heat, by vibration. This substance, whatever it is, seems immune to physical force. It feels less like a conventional devil fruit power and more like frozen time, or frozen life force.
It's like Imu didn't just freeze her, he removed her from the equation, put her in a state of absolute stasis. That's a level of power we haven't even comprehended yet.
And then Loki's body comes crashing down, slamming right into the ice block. The impact does nothing to the ice, of course, but his axe, Ragnir, falls off and lands on the ice next to him.
But it doesn't just land. The axe transforms in this little puff of smoke. Poof! It shrinks down into a little squirrel. A Squirrel-Axe. Ragnir is a squirrel. I screamed when I read this. A squirrel.
It's one of those classic Oda moments, a moment of extreme tension and danger, undercut by something utterly absurd. We've seen this before with Funkfried, Spandam's elephant sword, so the precedent for weapons that have eaten Zoan fruits is there.
Yeah, but an elephant sword for a weak-ass clown like Spandam is one thing. A Squirrel-Axe for the Prince of Elbaf in the final battle for the world? That's a whole other level of Oda brand genius.
The squirrel immediately scurries over to the dying Loki, clearly concerned. It's chittering and nudging him. But as its little paws are on the ice starts to melt. Not just melt, it sizzles away like acid on stone.
Brook is the first one to see it, and he's ecstatic. Ragnir is melting the ice. Whatever that weapon is, it's the key.
This raises so many questions. Is Ragnir a cursed weapon? Did it eat a devil fruit, a squirrel Zoan? If so, why would a simple squirrel be the counter to Imu's ultimate stasis power? It feels too simple.
A squirrel that can melt the unmeltable ice of the Shadow King of the world? That's a heck of a squirrel. I'm thinking it might be a mythical Zoan. We're in the endgame. It can't just be a regular squirrel fruit, right? It has to be something legendary. But man, what a reveal. But back up top, Luffy is in trouble.
Serious trouble. The black flame is on his jacket now, near his shoulder, and Imu is preparing to fire Stigma again. He's targeting the flame. The panel focuses on Imu's strange ringed eyes, and then on the flame on Luffy's jacket. The attack is locked on.
And this is what I'm talking about. This is peak Luffy. This is why he's going to be the Pirate King. He doesn't try to tank it. He doesn't try to block it with Haki. He doesn't try to outpunch it. He sees the flame on his jacket, understands the attack is aimed at the flame, and just takes the jacket off.
It's an act of profound simplicity and genius. He throws it. The jacket flies one way, and Imu's Stigma attack follows it, blasting a hole in empty air. Imu, this ancient, all-powerful being, is left staring at a smoking, tattered piece of clothing.
That's the kind of thing that makes Luffy terrifying. He's not just a brawler. He has some of the highest battle IQ in the series. People forget that because he's a goofball, but we've seen it time and time again. Using water on Crocodile, using a mirror to see into the mirror world against Katakuri. He just bypassed a world-ending attack by taking off his clothes. It's perfect.
It's a complete refusal to play by Imu's rules. The attack has a condition, a target, so Luffy just removes the condition. It's elegant in its own simple way. Imu's power is based on control, on designation, on marking something for destruction. Luffy's power, his true power, is freedom. And what is more free than simply refusing to accept the premise of your enemy's attack? He literally sidestepped the entire concept.
Exactly. He just sidesteps the entire premise of the attack. So with that settled, we cut away to the Western Village seaport where Zoro is having a little chat.
He's confronting Sommers, and Zoro's reasoning for being there is just perfectly Zoro. He's not mad about the world domination plot or the danger to the island. He's annoyed because they interrupted their feast.
Bro, never get between a straw hat and their food. That's rule number 1. It's the highest crime on the Thousand Sunny. That's just asking for trouble. Sommers doesn't get it, though. He's all pompous and arrogant. He says they'll be on their way as soon as Killingham brings the children.
Zoro's response is ice cold. He's just leaning on his swords, completely relaxed. He just says that since Sanji is there, he has a good feeling Killingham won't be coming back at all.
The absolute unshakable faith he has in Sanji, it's not even a boast. He doesn't say Sanji will win or Sanji better handle it. He says it like he's commenting on the weather. It's just a statement of fact to him. Sanji's got this. End of story. This is the core of their dynamic. They can fight and argue all day, but when the chips are down, the trust is absolute.
It's the foundation of the wings of the Pirate King. They don't need to communicate it. They just know the other will hold up their end of the sky. It's a level of trust that goes beyond friendship. It's a symbiotic combat relationship.
Summers isn't impressed. He gloats that they have no idea how powerful the two of them have become and fires a thorn at Zoro.
Which Zoro blocks without even breaking a sweat. He just flicks his sword and deflects it. It's just a warm-up. The real show is happening where Sanji is.
And Oda takes us right there. Sanji has reached the western village, moving like a blur, and he sees it. Killingham's creation, the Zaza MMA, is grabbing the children.
And let's talk about the design of this thing. It's a hulking, robotic creature, but Oda has deliberately given it an unmistakably feminine form. A curvaceous body, long hair made of cables. It's a nightmare machine, but it's shaped like a woman.
And here's the problem. We all knew it was coming. The Zaza MMA, it looks like a woman. And we all know Sanji's code, his chivalry. He cannot, will not bring himself to strike it. He freezes.
This is his classic dilemma, but the stakes have never been higher. It's not about losing a personal fight anymore. He's watching the mothers of the village, already injured from the earlier chaos, trying desperately to fight this metal monstrosity for their kids, and they are just being swatted away like flies.
You can see the agony on his face in that one panel. He can't attack the machine, but he also can't stand there and watch the mothers cry. His entire moral compass is spinning out of control. It's a checkmate situation for his morality. Oda put his most defining trait in direct opposition to his most defining duty, protecting the innocent.
So he finds the only way out, the only move left on the board. He can't fight the creation, so he has to defeat the creator. He uses Skywalk to launch himself directly over the MMA and goes straight for Killingham.
Killingham is surprised by his strength, calls him tougher than he looks, but he's still arrogant. He's got that smarmy, untouchable attitude. He claims he's immortal, that Sanji can't do anything to him. Classic villain monologue.
But he does confess one thing, a crucial mistake. He's so confident that he reveals a key weakness. If he, the user, falls in battle, his MMA will disappear.
And that's all Sanji needed to hear. The focus in his eyes sharpens. You can see the gears turning. He lands, dust kicking up around him, and he tells Killingham flat out, "I know what your weakness is."
And then Sanji just reveals it, plain and simple. He tells Killingham his weakness is Supreme King Haki, Conqueror's Haki.
That's the ball game. I threw my tablet across the room. That's the whole chapter right there. Sanji knows that an overwhelming blast of will, of Haki, is the only thing that can bypass this kind of strange devil fruit power that makes the user immortal. It's not about physical damage. It's about crushing the user's spirit directly.
Killingham just laughs at him. He mocks him, treating it like a joke. Supreme King Haki? Don't make me laugh. A cook like you? He tells him to go ahead and try it, if he even can. He then blasts Sanji away with some unseen force.
And as Sanji is recovering from the blast, slammed against a wall, we get it. The flashback we've been waiting for. It's to his time training with Silver's Gaban.
This is the moment. The art style shifts, the panels get softer. Gaban is there with Sanji, and he's just revealed that Zoro possesses Conqueror's Haki. Sanji, without looking at him, just asks, "Do I have it too?"
The vulnerability in that question, it just hits you right in the chest. After everything with his family, with Judge telling him he's a failure, a dud without powers, he has to ask, am I like him? Am I one of them? He's not asking out of jealousy, but out of a deep-seated insecurity.
Gaban's answer is devastatingly precise. He looks at Sanji, really looks at him, and says he has the potential for it. The quality of a king is there, dormant inside him. The raw material exists.
But there's always a but. I was holding my breath reading this part.
But, Gaban says, he suffers from masochistic instability, and then he delivers the line that changes everything for Sanji's character arc, the line that reframes his entire journey. If you want to make Luffy the Pirate King, you yourself must become a king.
It's not enough to be the shield. It's not enough to be the knight. It's not enough to be the cook or the spy. To serve a king, to stand by his side at the top of the world, you have to have the spirit of a king yourself. He has to overcome this deep-seated need to sacrifice himself, this idea that his worth comes from the pain he can endure for others. That's the masochistic instability.
Exactly. That instability, that masochism, is his chivalry twisted into a weapon against himself. It's the part of him that would rather die than kick a woman, even if that woman is a machine about to harm children. It's the part of him that was willing to sacrifice himself to Big Mom to save the crew. It's the part of him that was willing to let Queen crush his body to protect a single woman. To unlock his full power, his Conqueror's Haki, he has to find a balance. He has to value his own life, his own will, as much as he values others.
He has to want to conquer, not conquer the world, but conquer his own self-destructive tendencies, for Luffy's sake. And then we cut from that flashback, that incredible, earth-shattering character revelation, back to the top of the mountain.
Luffy is getting up. The drums of liberation are starting to beat, a sound that must be utterly chilling to Imu.
The steam is pouring off him, the white hair, the white clothes, that big, goofy, powerful grin. Gear 5th is back online.
And Imu looks down at this ridiculous, cartoonish, godlike figure and says one name, Joy Boy.
But Luffy is so done with that name. He gets this annoyed look on his face, a look that just says, here we go again, and he just shouts back at him. He's not Joy Boy.
He introduces himself. He points his thumb at his own chest. He is Monkey D. Luffy.
And he is going to be the Pirate King.
Super! It's a complete rejection of the title. Imu, the figure of history and authority, tries to label him, to put him in a box of prophecy. But Luffy refuses. He is his own man, with his own dream. This is so critically important. He's not just a vessel for an ancient will. He has inherited the will, yes, but he is not defined by it.
Yes, he's not just inheriting a will, he's forging his own. He's not a replacement Joy Boy, he is the one and only Monkey D. Luffy. And the chapter ends right there, on a double-page spread of Luffy in his Gear 5th form, ready to go, as the real battle, the Battle of Kings, is about to begin.
What an absolutely staggering chapter. The implications for Sanji alone are enormous. This is the culmination of his entire journey of self-worth.
This whole time we've thought it as Zoro being the right hand, the conqueror, and Sanji being the left hand, the brilliant strategist and fighter. But this reframes it entirely. They are the two wings. Both of them have the qualities of a king, they just manifested differently. It's not about one having it and one not. It's about how they access it.
Zoro's is overt. It's the will to stand above all others in combat, to never lose again for the sake of his captain. Sanji's has been suppressed by his own kindness and trauma. Gabin basically gave him the key. Stop seeing yourself as disposable. Start seeing yourself as royalty. Your life, your will, has as much value as the people you protect.
Oda has been setting this up for years. I mean years. The Mr. Prince moniker in Alabasta, his literal royal bloodline with the Vinsmokes, calling himself the Hunter in a fight. It's all been leading to this. He's not just a prince by birthright, he needs to become a king by force of will.
And think about the beautiful parallel. Zoro unlocked his advanced Conqueror's Haki, the coding, by fully accepting his captain's dream as his own, by vowing to make Luffy the Pirate King and becoming the King of Hell himself. Sanji is being told he has to do the same thing, just by overcoming a different internal obstacle, not a lack of ambition, but an excess of self-sacrificing empathy.
It's so good. It respects both of their individual journeys. It's not just making Sanji a copy of Zoro. He has to find his own path to becoming a king. His version of a king is one who can balance absolute kindness with absolute strength.
Let's talk about Imu's powers for a moment. This Stigma attack is terrifying. It seems to require a pre-existing condition, either a wound or one of these black flames he attaches to people.
It's like a homing beacon for destruction, which makes Luffy's solution even more brilliant. Imu marks the spot, and Luffy just moves the map. It's like, nope, that's not me anymore. That's just a jacket. The ultimate troll move against a god.
And Imu's ice that Gunko is trapped in clearly isn't normal. The fact that Ragnir, this squirrel weapon, is what melts it suggests it's some kind of life force-based or soul-based power. Something natural and living, like Ragnir, can counteract it. Perhaps Imu's power is the antithesis of life itself, a power of absolute zero, of nothingness.
Brook's delight at seeing it melt makes so much sense. As a soul-based being himself, he'd be more attuned to that kind of thing. Maybe he could feel that the ice was unnatural in a way the others couldn't. It wasn't cold in a physical sense, but cold in a spiritual one.
It's possible. Everything about Imu's abilities feels ancient and fundamental, not like a standard devil fruit. The omens, the stigma, the black flames, it feels more like a conceptual force, authority given form.
A force that Luffy is about to punch directly in the face with the most ridiculous power in the entire world. The ultimate freedom against the ultimate control. That's the final battle right there.
It really is. Thematically, it's perfect. The embodiment of inherited authority versus the embodiment of personal freedom. The man who sits on the empty throne versus the man who wants to throw a party for the entire world.
I could talk about that Sanji reveal all day. The idea of masochistic instability is such a clinical, cutting way to describe the core of his entire character. It's brilliant. What do you all think Gabon meant by that? We want to see all the theories, so drop them in the comments below. It's a feast for the lore brains this week.
All right, let's move on to predictions for 1188. Franky, you're up first.
Okay, prediction 1, Sanji will not awaken his Conqueror's Haki in the next chapter. Not yet. Oda will edge us. Instead, he's going to find a new application of his Germa abilities. He'll use Ifrit Jambé, but the flames will turn a colder, more intense blue, and he'll use it to create a wave of pressure, an imitation of a Conqueror's blast, to disable Killingham in the MMA. It'll be a step towards becoming a king, but not the final step.
I like that. A synthesis of his past and his future. Okay, my first prediction is that the ice around Gunko will fully melt, and she will be conscious. Her first words will be a name, someone from the Void Century. A name that makes Imu pause the fight with Luffy because it's a name that should have been erased from history forever.
Ooh, a lore bomb right in the middle of the fight. I love it. Okay, my second one, we'll cut back to Zoro and Sommers. Sommers' thorn ability is actually a Logia-type devil fruit, the thorn fruit, allowing him to create and become thorny vines. Zoro will realize he can't cut him effectively and will have to use a new fire-based sword technique, something he learned from Kinemon's style, to burn the vines away.
A nice callback. Okay, my second prediction is about Sanji's masochistic instability. Gabon's diagnosis wasn't just psychological, it's a literal, physical side effect of Judge's modifications. The emotion-suppressing drugs and genetic tampering created a conflict with his natural-born haki. To awaken his conquerors, Sanji will have to use his haki to consciously burn away the last remnants of Judge's science within his own body, fully claiming his identity.
Bro, that would be incredible. Rewriting his own DNA through sheer force of will. That's a king move right there. Alright, my final prediction. The chapter will end with Luffy and Imu trading blows, but Imu will say something that confirms he's known multiple Joy Boys. He'll say something like, "You're more reckless than the last one," confirming he's an immortal who has fought this battle before and lost.
A chilling thought. My final prediction goes back to Ragnir. The reason it melted the ice is because it's not just a squirrel zoan. It's a mythical zoan, model Ratatoskr, the squirrel from Norse mythology that runs up and down the world tree, Yggdrasil. The ice is a manifestation of Imu's power, which is anti-life, and Ragnir, a creature tied to the world tree, the ultimate symbol of life, is its natural opposite. Loki and his weapon are intrinsically tied to the lore of the world tree, and that's why they were brought to this final battle.